Oh, this is lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight. We're live already. So please, wherever you're connected from, just tell us where you are connected from. And at the same time, kindly just give us a thumbs up if you're connected and tell us where you are connected from. And please confirm if you can hear me. Let me know you can hear me, please. Can hear me live and direct, please just type 111 on the chat box. If you can hear me, please type 111 on the chat box. You know you can hear me, just type 111 on the chat box. Tonight's going to be very phenomenal. Just pay attention and going to be very fantastic. You know you can hear me live and direct. Kindly type 111 on the chat box. Thank you very much. And you can as well tell us which of the city and of which country are you connected from. Which of the city and of which country are you connected from? Just tell us where you are connected from which city are you connected from. Tell us the city you're connected from. And tonight's going to be very phenomenal because it's going to be a comprehensive both analysis and at the same time business exposure because quite a number of persons wouldn't even understand what's going on in the space right now. All right, I can see people from Adoikiti, Nigeria. You're welcome from Adoikiti, Nigeria. From Port Harcourt, Nigeria. You're welcome. You're welcome. I can see from Owerri. You're welcome from Abuja. Thank you from Abuja. You're welcome. Thank you from Abuja. You're welcome. Thank you very much from Abuja. You're welcome. From Abuja. You're welcome. All right. I can see people from Osun. You're welcome from Osun. Osun, Osogbo, Ilesa, all the way. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. Tonight is going to be phenomenal because I'm going to present to us a brief stuff. I can see from Uyo. Thank you. Blessing from Uyo. You're welcome. Yeah, from Uyo. You're welcome. Okay. Yes. You can share the link with your friends. Let us have more people. And because tonight is going to be phenomenal, we're going to expose you to one or two things. I know good number of people have been looking at trading and opportunity in the financial market, struggling, doing a whole lot of things. But trust me, we're going to be doing a whole lot of things. And just to give us an aha effect, you know that you've been struggling with trading and some other things, and it's going to be fantastic for you to have, all right, an opportunity in the market because we're going to be exposing you to a lot of things. There's no doubt about that. Pitakwa, yes, thank you. Right, share with your friends, invite as many as possible. Because we're going to be sharing a lot of opportunity and information that probably we may not take seriously because I discovered that it's not about information; it's about sharing information. So it's about publicity. Yeah, that's the truth. From Port Harcourt, thank you very much. It's about publicity. If you have good things, or from Lagos, Nigeria, thank you very much. You probably could have a good thing, and there's a good thing sell itself. I don't believe it is what is well marketed that sell itself. But if good thing is well marketed, that will be an added advantage. All right. So share with your friends wherever they are, let them connect because we're looking at expose of the financial market, exploring the global financial market. It's going to be phenomenal. And like I told you, you don't want to miss it for any reason. Okay. And so, because I'm going to show a brief introduction to us, and then we'll look at the market and all of the gimmicks that happen in the markets that, well, we'll talk about the financial market. Financial market is larger than what you think. And so you have your data, but as well, you need to have access to the valid information. and we call it macro information. Macro information need to be assessed for you to maximize every opportunity in the space. So macro informations must be assessed. But I'm going to just elaborate sometime because I've seen that some of the fundamental information we do not have access to actually cause a lot of issues for us. Good number of people I've met and to tell them about the financial market, crypto, forex, and all of that. Their understanding is quite different, and so because of what they have been exposed to. All right. Now I'm going to gain all of this data for us and interpret some of those data for us. You can see the crypto market, all right, is actually bleeding. And then so I'm going to, because we're going to do more a kind of deeper analysis tonight, and then you can take advantage of what you have. But I'm going to give you a kind of brief expose of our platform and so the opportunity we have. Because a good number of people have asked me, I don't know about this, I don't know about this. But thank God you are here tonight, and then we're going to be exposing you to one or two things and how we actually explore the market. All right. It's not kind of trying to motivate you guys, but just to expose you because I discover if things, according to good say, if you don't train them, you don't blame them. So until you train somebody and you can now say, was that what I told you? And is that how I say it should be done? All of these figure you are seeing here, they contribute to certain things that we do not know about the market. But we'll come there. All right. If you look at all of this data, these are buying and selling. Everything that control your crypto market, especially Bitcoin, is happening inside this box here. Everything you are doing and seeing in your crypto market, this is the place. What determines the fall and rise of Bitcoin is these guys here on the spot ETF. All right. So what happened? The spot ETF is part of the thing that we use in looking at sometime when we said Bitcoin should go to this price, even before we look at the chart in totality. And then I'm going to be exposing you to those things. So don't go away. We're going to be exposing you to some of those things. You need to have access, even if you don't know how to use it, you need to be in an ecosystem that have access to some of those vital information, and then you leverage on it. That's the power. All right. So please be attentive. Now fasten your seatbelt because I want to expose you to some of those fundamental things about the financial market and why we actually leverage on it that way. And then we look at some of those charts. This is the beginning of the week. You should understand that what to do from the beginning of the week is what determines how much shares you are going to have from the market. All right, trust me. So now let's go. I'm going to introduce us to you so that just follow my slide, and it's going to be more comprehensive to an extent. But I'll need next 10 to 15 minutes to present to you, and then we'll look at one or two charts as it ought to be, and then how to maximize some of those charts. Okay. Now I'm going to be presenting to you about this Plan B Express quickly, and so that you look at what you could maximize on it. I just hope you can see my screen quickly. If you can see my screen, I love you to type 111 on the chat. Okay, type 433 on the chat box. If you can see my screen, please quickly. I want to believe that you can see my screen. Type, if you can see my screen in a full scale, in a presentation mode, please just type 222 on the chat box. Sorry. Type 222 on the chat box. If you can see my screen uh, live and direct, kindly help me type 222 on the chat box. You can see my screen, type 222 on the chat box. Okay, so I do believe that people can see the screen. All right, thank you very much. You could see the screen. That makes a lot of sense. Now, so let's go together a quick presentation I'm going to give to you before we look at the market. So this tonight presenting to you exploring the global financial market. Now, it is said to be that in the modern era, the traditional promise of job security has dissolved into the reality of economic volatility. As we navigate 2026, the global landscape is no longer a stable foundation, but a shift sea of hawkish hood. Some of us who are trading and do macro analysis on fundamentals, you know what I mean by hawkish. Energy driven inflation shocks and geopolitical risk triangles. Relying on a single local income stream is no longer just risky, it's a strategic failure. All right. So you can imagine your failure is strategic in nature. So the global financial market represent the only arena where the individual can decouple their wealth from their geography, turning global chaos into personal leverage. However, the holy grail of the era isn't a specific trade or a secret boat. So understand this. What I'm going to tell you about diversification. It is the internal asset architecture you build within yourself. Therefore, the real asset is equal to mindset plus skill set plus tool set. So when you talk about asset in the 21st, and then this season we are in the Gen Z, is actually a combination of a mindset, skill set, and a tool set. So Plan B Express is here to show you how to navigate and maximize the new economy to stay afloat in the economy uncertainty characterized, number one, with geopolitical war. Where do you think the war going on between Iran and Israel, and then of course coupled with US, where do you think it's going to? Now there's going to be a lot of activities around infrastructural problem. And now so the need for digitalization is actually very, very important. So the geopolitical war and AI contention with human specialization. So wealth is going to move. You will see if you watch the little video now, they're talking about the next generational, millionaires going to be emerging from AIs, and of course, like this crisis going on or the war going on, you're going to see a shift in paradigm, and that's one of the things you cannot afford to miss. However, there should be a disclaimer: the risk warning about financial markets, which includes forex, crypto, stock, and synthetics, so are volatile. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk to your capital. Copy trading does not guarantee profit and may result in losses exceeding your initial deposit. Now, that doesn't mean that you are not going to make money. All right. Then forex, crypto, and all the like, they're highly volatile and subject to market shift. Synthetics is more of algorithmic markets that operate 24/7 within with high leverage. Now, let me tell you something about when it comes to a lot of people have told you about synthetics is good as much as it's good. Then there's a certain fallacy we always listen to. News does not control it, but I always tell you one thing you should know: every of your trade you are trading against the broker. So especially if the broker is still very small, then you are typically struggling with the broker. So that most of the persons when they are trading and all of that in the ask. So then if it's larger, then against yourself and against the broker, most importantly. So please consult with certified financial advisor before investing. So PBS Club is an educational platform and is not liable for any individual trading loss. Now, we have what we call three-in-one solution for the market exploration. So pay close attention. And we tell you reason why we want people to spread their tentacles in what we call diversification. Now pay attention. There are three typical ways of exploring global financial market. Number one is called passive. Now listen. Now, when you hear about passive, it's different from Ponzi scheme, please. Passive is not the same as Ponzi scheme, one kind of online ROI and simulated reward you see on your dashboard, and it has no correlation with real life activities, as it were. But on passive, really, indeed, the risk is low. We call it a low risk, but if it's a low risk, it's a low reward. Low stress, but high leverage. What do we mean by leverage? Of course, we'll explain what leverage is all about. So high leverage in the sense that you probably would not need to do, the thinking and all the other stuff. Then the second opportunity we have for you is the aspect of active. So active participation, high risk, high rewards, high stress, low leverage. Oh, so now if it's stressful but it's bringing money, it makes sense. But before you can actually, there's a need to master a certain craft. And that's one of the things you should understand. So high risk, high rewards, high stress, low leverage. So you actually don't have much leverage, except for now AIs had helped us, and you are going to see where your leverage is. But what we mean by leverage is that because this person will probably have to work things out by himself. Okay. Then we have the third in residual: low risk, high rewards, high stress, high leverage. So you can combine. And so we said everybody is a millionaire. Either you make $1 million or you make million SQs. After all, we are all millionaires. So you can be a millionaire in SQs, another person is going to be a millionaire in dollars. But you can't be the two. You can't be a millionaire in SQs and I'll be a millionaire in dollar. Any millionaire in dollar does not have million excuses. And those are the truth. All right. So, but there are a few things I want you to get clarified moving forward, so that when we're showing you about chart and why you need to trade by yourself, why you need to explore the market and all dimensions, or spreading your tentacles to diversify, you know the reason. Now, few concepts I want to explain. What is risk? First of all, what is risk? Risk is probability of bad outcome. So understand that. So that means you have to project an expectation. So when you hear people say, hey, now this no risk, it's not true. Every business have risk associated. It could be low, mild, and then whichever dimension. But that's not to shows about when you jump from one Ponzi scheme to another and say, after all, risk is risk. No, they are not the same. Okay. And I listen to people say, put the amount of money you can afford to lose. No, it's applied to trading, and not all the capital, even. It's a portion you want to engage to the market. So, which mean potential loss of money in an investment or business operation. Now, listen, as far as it involves business, there are probability of having a bad outcome. So, meaning you could lose money. That's normal. So, I'm not saying this to scare us, but I'm giving us the reality, because a lot of people have followed YouTube and jump here and there and think that, okay, whatever thing they're saying, oh, it's not true. So, but that's where you need to have the skill set, the two set, to actually how to mitigate the loss. But the loss, are they there? They're looking at you very broadly. Now, the next you need to understand in your mind is what is called leverage. What is leverage? Opportunity for a multiplier effect, resulting in less effort but more result. That's pure leverage. So in business, when you are able to have a lift, all right. So with one button click, then the lift up to a heavy stuff. So you have leverage on the lever. And so in business, now the ability to have more. So in economy, we call it internal economy of scale. All right, and external economy of scale. So the power of leverage is one of the fundamental things. If you do not understand it, then you are going to be struggling. And that's just like how we have solo or sole trader and solopreneur. So solopreneur leverage on technology. If not, they are still like sole proprietors, but solopreneur now leverage on AI and technology, and do use them, but yet control them in one control room. So they're actually different. So leverage. Then the last thing that is very important that you must be. So please look at this last paragraph. What is control? Control is to exercise retraining or directing influence over, meaning to have power over something. So the red flag of any online system is lack of control. So any business you are going to get involved into, any online system you are going to get involved into, passive, active, and everything. Now, if you cannot get control, there's a problem. That's power to lay it down, power to take it up. And now, what do you mean by this? Therefore, if your money is not in the bank, so take note. If your money is not in the bank, any business, so the red flag is this: I'm going to invest in business now. Now, the money is not going to be in the bank. Okay, it's understandable, because what is the bank meant for? Bank was created purposely first to keep valuables until time received converted. Then it's now like handling your money, so saving your money, right? Even though there are more understanding you have where, but definitely there's no how you will not still have something to do with the bank. So bank was created, and so it's very possible now if I just tell you, hey, I want to get to the bank, what comes to your mind? Oh boy, bring money for me. That's the truth. And that's what the bank is known for. In fact, somebody says working in the bank, you always associate him to be a millionaire, as they might believe, village thinkers. That's the truth. Then if any money you keep in the bank, So what is the definition? You that kept the money in the bank, there is a message, control. You have control over it. You can withdraw, you can transfer, you can even empty the money because you have control. The next is called broker. So any business you are venturing into, it's either the money is in the bank. If it's not in the bank, because of course bank cannot do all the businesses, but they save money, they save your money and all of that. So you need to go to the next thing called a broker. So take note of these things. Broker are actually divided into two major portions. We have broker that actually save, license authorized to have middle to be a mediator between buyers and sellers of securities. So they are the one licensed and regulated and be able to carry out on the floor of stock exchange. So brokers, if I'm going to get involved in any business, then it's either my money from bank, okay, if it's not in the bank, a broker, broker for equity trading and broker for foreign exchange trading. So to understand this, let it be clear. So I'm going to trade, then my money should be in the broker. Now I'm trading equity or I'm trading foreign exchange. The third, if it's not there, then my money should be in an exchange. So what's an exchange? Crypto is mainly for exchange. So any exchange, any money that is not going to be an exchange, because exchange too are at least register for the purpose of carrying out, intermediate between buyer and seller of, digital asset, Bitcoin, Ethereum, different cryptocurrency. However, there are times things have evolved now. We have different exchange that have produced more flexibility. We used to have, I've forgotten this exchange we used from the US, Matrix or something, I've forgotten, right? Before Binance came in 2017. Nobody ever thought that Binance was going to overtake virtually every other exchange. But the guy was aggressive, took over everywhere. Many people do not know that Binance, probably some may not know that Binance actually acquire coin market cap, as at the time every market was red. When the bear market, that 2018 or something, and then or 2019, I can't remember, but acquired coin market cap with the worth of $400 million. Oh yeah. So now, so what I'm saying is that my money in the bank, okay, the transaction is above the bank because buy and selling of equity or foreign exchange. So my money should go to where? My money should go to broker. If it's not there, I'm buying and selling crypto and all of that, or I'm even staking or whatever, my money should be in an exchange. Oh, my money is not an exchange, then the last place my money should be is in an external wallet, which we call non-custodian. All right, not just one random wallet, but non-custodian wallet. So you are probably in a scam project as it last control. So that is what I've said here. If your money is not in the bank, it's not in the broker, it's not an exchange, it's not in a wallet, and then you are talking of investing in any platform. I told somebody one time, he said, come and invest in so place. I said, my $1 is too much for me to put in a place, even if it's my father that created the platform, because he was not licensed to carry out transactions of such money. And so I should actually control myself from there. So now I'm sure many of us are getting some clarity. Now, the 3-in-1 solution for the market exploration. So we have on the passive, so take note. First, we have what we call copy automation. So after now, you may want to ask, how do you get started with our copy automation? We have 3 segments of automation. We call it PBS Club 1, PBS Club 2, PBS Club 3, even though we partner with different platforms for this PBS 1 and 2, 3. Now you will ask, why not just one? There's a variety. There is one thing, one time. Even the Holy Book talk about the scripture, talked about, it's a give portion to 5. It's a no, 6 or 7. So because you don't know what the evil that will come upon the earth. Now, so the point is that one of the first risk management system is diversification. Now, I'm not talking about putting money to different Ponzi scheme. I'm talking about genuinely speaking, putting your money just like even in an exchange. Now, sometimes you want to look at there's some things that offer in this exchange that may not be offered in this exchange, and probably you want to leverage on that. Let me talk about I know one of exchange that give access to few people for liquidity pool, not the normal liquidity staking we do, but give us liquidity. Whatever transaction we make, we will give you share of that fee transactions and all of that. So that's one of the things. So that could motivate an individual to go there. Now the crypto portfolio. Now, so I'm sure many of you will hear about this copy automation. You don't need to pay us to connect to any of our copy automation. You don't need to pay. Now we partner with different platforms that you can take advantage of that. Then we have crypto portfolio holding is the first, the oldest, and that will still remain the longest because that's how you help yourself. Liquidity provision. Now, one of the issue about liquidity provision, we call something impairment. So impairment loss, like you pair Ethereum and one other crypto together. Now, if Ethereum is going more drastically down than other one, you are going to be losing money to an extent. So you want side by side balancing, and then you don't need to trade, you don't need to do anything. Then you can earn from the fee transaction. Tokenization. This has not come to the full stage, but take note, and that's why we want you to acquire some reasonable coins, before the full fledged. I have been projecting tokenization to be 2027, and that was what made us to get involved in one of those funny projects that go said, if these people actually mess up with this project, that means they are the most stupid people. Because we look at tokenization. Is it going to come to full fledged? Take note of it, watch and see. Today, I was still watching what was it yesterday when the American president Donald Trump was talking of we're going to be the super house of crypto, Bitcoin in America and all of those things. So you can say it's political or whatever, but like that, things will be happening now, but you wouldn't know that you are missing out. Like I've told us, the last bull run that happened is the mother of all. Many were still waiting for bull run, but I'm sorry. When I told us that my target for Bitcoin was 90,000, any other thing extra, 110, 125, 136, 156, 176 is Jara. And a lot was still saying Bitcoin was going to go to 200,000. Will it go there? Why not? But is it now? I'm not sure. Right. Then, so we have stock portfolio. Now, but for you to have access to the crypto portfolio, you must be a member of our PBS club. That's one of the things. We do a whole lot of things there. Then, stock portfolio. So we have three dimensions of the stock. I'm sure many of you probably you have heard. This is how spread of stock portfolio are done. Blue chips are stock base, dividend base, and penny stocks. All of these with this recommendation is exclusive into the club. If you are not a member of the club, I'm not sure you can have access to, unless sometime we just mention after some of those stock we buy, both local and international had moved. We have a stock now that is already pumping again. And when we bought, it did about 770%. Then some, they only did about 500% within 2 months. Right down, the same stock came down, from from 900, from 700 to 1,007. It came down again to 1,1. Some people were able to buy to 1,001, and then 1,002, some at 1,600 or thereabout, and it went to 7,000 naira. Now it plumbed back to 1,009. I told a good number of people in that club to buy. And right now, that same stock is about 5,400 naira per shares. We're going to see some of them. Now, why dividend-based stock? Example, MTN, like local stock, MTN, Boa Cement. By next month of April, MTN, Boa Cement, Lafarge, and some other stock are going to be paying massive dividend to holders. I think I've been holding MTN since 2019 or 2020. I can't remember. Boa Cement are going to pay. I bought the first Boa Cement at about 67 naira. Right now, Boa Cement is about 327, 326 naira, and all of that. So that's one thing. Then fixed income, money market, land banking. We have a lot of connection with some of those apps where you can do. So we'll talk about money markets like mutual fund, and then there's some fixed things you can do. You can make money. These are derivation. And so we help people spread your tentacles and make money from all angles, and then you can be fine. Solution. So what is the solution? If you take notes, and by after this message, if you know you don't have an account with us on Capital Extend, I think it's better you run and register on WellTrade and AI Tech. These three platforms are actually where we have to use some of those copy automation on them and all of that. Then for crypto solution, so there's a new exchange coming that I have a solution with a platform, an AI-driven solution that's going to be giving us some opportunity on Bit1. So some of you already with us, you have to synchronize your Bit1 because we're going to be using it. I've been using Bybit. There are crazy things that in Bybit that many people never explore. There are so many things. All of these things, if I tell you that all of these things I mentioned are on Bybit alone, can you see it? Because now, right on Bybit, you can buy stock. It's just that you can't buy local stock, but you can buy international stock. You can trade Forex on Bybit because I've had my MT5 on Bybit since about 3 years now, thereabout, before many people have actually knew about it. Robot you can use on Bybit and so many things. So there's a big ecosystem activities on Bybit. So if you have Bybit, I think I would advise you to settle down and go through Bybit. So then for stock, we have Bamboo, Meritrade, True Finance, and Plutus Neo that we use for all of those things I just tried to mention. Then the 3-in-1 solution continue. The active, personal trading. What is the requirement? The requirement is MST kit. That is mindset, skill set, and tool set. Then what's the second thing? The second thing is personal. So we call it funding. So you can actually get your account funded personally or other people money. It's called OPM. That's a part of prop firm. Now, so you shouldn't. I make one video previously. I say there is no need borrowing money to trade right now because there is other people's money. What you need is a mist. That is mindset, skill set, and tool set. If you sharpen it very well, then you can subscribe for a prop firm and be able to help yourself. Solution: PBS Club and market scanners is going to help every beginner to actually maximize and trade effectively. Then prop firm, it's an access that could help you as much as possible. Now the residual, of course, residual is about building social capital into cash flow. Many do not understand. So channels, we have PBS Club and market scanner. Anyone you invite to our PBS Club and market scanner, you actually earn 20% affiliate, and it can be residual. If the person is enjoying the scanner and is subscribing, you can make money. AI tech ecosystem, you have weekly rebate income, and then you have Capital Extend weekly rebate and monthly income. Then Wealth Trade will have daily and monthly rebate income. Yes. So you can see these are dimensions. Do I need to kill myself? No, it's just to kick in and then look at how you spread your tentacles. Of course, trust me, we actually help you. Now, an example, I say the hybrid solution, which is the market scanner. The PBS market scanners are elite and high precision tools designed to filter market noise and provide institutional grade entries. Each scanner includes a specialized price action toolkit and flexible time frame options to fit every trader's trading strategy or style. So two major specialization of these scanners are the structural foundations, right? And then the institutional grid level scanner. So one focus on all instruments as well as all trading styles such as scalping, day trading, intraday, swing, position trading, while the later focus more on gold, BTC, and of course commodity scalping and hunting for 50 to 100 pips. If you have been following us, you see that our live trading scalping with gold, we always tell people 50 pips to 100 pips. One of the lovely things about gold is that it presents pips as fast as possible. The aspect of this scanner is that accuracy of this scanner is actually from 75 to 90%, and if rules are properly followed. Now, listen, the same scanner, another person will do 90% accuracy on it, another person will do 75 or 70% accuracy on it. So it just depends on how the persons actually follow. Look at how the scanner works. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, what I've just shown to you now is a massive opportunity that you can leverage on and make a whole lot of money in this space. Okay, so now very quickly, I'm sure you will have questions, but after now, you can ask the questions. So all these things I've just mentioned to you, I presented some links. If you're on our group, if you're not on our group, you can request to join, especially the free general Telegram group, which is called Cash Flow System. The Cash Flow System is going to help you to get some information, and then you register and how to go about it. We have done some video on how to register on some of those platforms. Then after now, you can actually follow us. And for some of us who are on the forum before and you are not maximizing, I'm sorry, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. That's the truth. All right. So now, if you look at it, is there everybody that can trade? No. We know some persons are very busy. You are working and then you don't have even a damn time. Maybe you are working offshore. And although no excuse is genuine enough against building your personal economy, there's no. So, but definitely at one point or the other, you'll be handicapped with so many projects and all of that. But the point I always mention to people is that listen, the best time to work on your plan B is when your plan A is active. If it's when they put you out of where you work, we have told you that Job security, of course, no, we don't need to sing it to you. No motivation about that. You already seen the secret. If you are going to be waiting for 30 days, and that's why you are fragile, you'll be looking, oh, let them not kick me out. And if they do not kick you out, if they didn't pay you the salary on time, just 1 week you're already fidgeting because there is no that's mono economy, a mono system. All right, so now I want to like expose you to something. Now if you look at in Bitcoin, right, look at it, there are major guys, principalities, that determine the price movement of Bitcoin. So that's what we call about macro system. This is called Bitcoin ETF. I may not have time to start explaining to you what Bitcoin ETF means, but I'm sure for a number of people who have been following us on our platform for many years, we talk to you about time is going to come. We will not have the privilege we have again. I just do hope we're still getting together. Are we still following me, please? I hope you're live. If you are live, you are following me, please just type 222. No, type 333 on the chat box if you know you are still following. If you are still following live and direct and you are hearing me clear and loud, just type 333 on the chat box very quickly, please. Type 333 on the chat box if you are following. Type 333 on the chat box if you know you are following, you are still hearing me, and you are seeing the screen. Type 333 on the chat box. No one have typed. That means you are not hearing me. Please let me know that I'm not speaking to myself, because this is a very sensitive moment, because we're going to the chart and we're looking at the market. What can we buy, or what is the market going to do this week? Both the forex market, the crypto market. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support. Those of you typing, because it's meant to be engaging in nature, and so we need to engage. All right. Thank you very much. Let's go quickly. So now, if that's the case, so we're looking at the market. There are three major markets we actually explore that because they are fundamentally important. So the crypto market, the forex market, all right, the stock market. Okay. So now, if you look at the crypto market, many persons actually thought, until when you check some things now, the mover and the shaker of the crypto market, number one, since ETF have been approved severally, many do not understand. ETF, that's the like of Fidelity, right? MicroStrategy, BlackRock, and all of those people had actually helped. What do you think they do? They help, they become a middle person with some institutional investors who are actually afraid of the volatility of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency in general, and then they venture into them. So they are the one that buy, the spot of crypto, buy and sell. Now you will see sometime when the market is crashing down, you'll see. Imagine on the 26th of this month, that was last week. Now, virtually almost all of those guys sold Bitcoin. Look at it. About 352 Bitcoin sold, 387 Bitcoin sold, 460 Bitcoin sold altogether. So over 2,600 and over 2,400, 204,000 Bitcoin. All right, 2,400 Bitcoin. Now, if you calculate the amount, it's crazy millions that were sold. Many wouldn't know what's actually happening. So you can see that the other time when Bitcoin pumped, this was happening. These are the places we take some data and we look at, okay, what could happen? You can imagine back to back from day 1, 2, 3, like that. All these guys are just buying. So you can see that most of us who are retailers, you are just a tool. The scripture talked about, right? The people that have, we have more. All right. It said more shall be given to them to have more abundance. It said those that do not really have, it said the little they will have will be taken from them and give to these people. I think it's Matthew chapter 13, verse number 12. Now, so if you look at it, is it now saying that this, meaning that these people are highly strategic? I used to warn many people before now that there's a need for you to sit down and learn how to think like the billionaires. If you are not, move with them and you'll be able to understand everything they do is strategic. While you're panicking and all of that, they are in charge. You call it manipulation. Me, I call it the strategy of the children of Issachar. They understand time and season. So that's what they do, and the market is moving. So now, if you look at it, since then, it has been more of sell, 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 sell. right? Why? All right. And with that, we still have another algorithm actually we check. Time will not permit, but to just tell you that the same crypto you are afraid that you are complaining is not working and all of that. So why some of those billionaires are still investing and companies are springing off with their ETF, that is to stand in the gap and help people to buy. But do you know one thing? Not no retailer will be able to have to get involved in some of those ETFs. How much do you have to actually get involved? So that's why we say sharpen your understanding. So acquire the skill set, get the tool set, and then sharpen your mindset so that you can actually make a lot of money. So now let's quickly look at the chart. I will start from Bitcoin today so that we can move together. All right. Before we use our tool, I will go to Bitcoin today. Now, one of the challenge we've had, if you look at, okay, let me even use our tool so that I wouldn't come back to it again. Now, this was last week. We have very fantastic sales for Bitcoin. Many do not really understand. That's why I'll talk about the scanner. You don't need to overlabor yourself. So, where is Bitcoin going to? Bitcoin is confused. I've traded Bitcoin yesterday and I've made money. I've closed my trade, right? Now, Bitcoin looks will still crash back to, it's obvious. You can see the support there. Now, crash back to 62,000 region. 62,000 region. If it's able to hold there, fine. If it does not hold on 62,000, right? So that means we'll be struggling from 62,000 to 59,000, or perhaps dangling to 58,000. If we break there, then the next support you are having is 48 till the $42,000. All right. So in now, how do we actually look at the market? Remember, when we are trading, now not everybody will know how to trade, but you need to learn how to leverage on information. Yours is smartly copy and paste. All right. So there is no copyright that will sue you. This is just copyright. So now this is Bitcoin. Now many ask, yeah, oh, we have said higher time frame is the boss, while lower time frame is the employee. Look at nobody to struggle themselves because today we have things that you can use as a parameter or leverage on and to do well. First of all, those days, Bitcoin actually rely on the movement of DXY. Over time, Bitcoin separated itself. So you now have like its own DXY, which has to do with USDT dominance. Now, the moment the USDT dominance is moving up, then you expect Bitcoin to be crashing and crypto to be crashing. So, but both of them now are the dilemma, all right? So let me just take off this one. So both of them now are the dilemma. So when you have the USDT dominance, that is amount of money moving to USDT going up, then Bitcoin should be crashing. And whatever happened to Bitcoin, then altcoins will feel it. Though some coins will be doing their own, internally. So you can see when they will start crashing, start pumping, meaning what does it mean? More money are being picked out of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as it were, and they were selling. We start having more selling, more selling, more selling on Bitcoin, and those money are being kept into stable coin. That's what it means by the dominance. So since we are having more of the dominance on the USDT, so the ripple effect is on Bitcoin movement. So Bitcoin began to what? To crash as much as possible. So that is just opposite each other. So it's a divergence, a negative correlation, and that's what we have. So, but Bitcoin couldn't do much yesterday, today, but previously we have this nice move. So, where is Bitcoin going to go? Bitcoin is still dicey. Remember, we are closing a week for Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin is not like dollar. So, Friday was closing a week, but Bitcoin today is the closing of the week for it. Unfortunately, we have been on a doji mode. Now, this seems to want to travel up, but unfortunately could not. And that means Bitcoin is at a fragile mode right now. The only thing that can save Bitcoin for you to go up, right, is for us to open, but we are forced to go down and sweep this low, both this and this. And why? So why is that happen? If I go to 4 hour time frame, you probably could look at where we are now on Bitcoin to make this support. except for that. If we can make this support where we are here, then Bitcoin could continue its journey. But even when it continues the journey, then you can see we have what we call fair value gap here. But apart from the fair value gap, that means if Bitcoin will even move up, we could have something like this. Let's quickly look at it. So we could have Bitcoin having this, to look at it, maybe return back to a premium, which means if you travel massively, then you can have Bitcoin. So for me, I have position I bought in the yesterday, and I sold, and I just kept part of it, right? So that means you could look at Bitcoin to travel back up to 68,000, 69,000, up to $70,000, and then you have the next crash, except otherwise. So that means for anyone still holding, then could say, okay, let's watch what Bitcoin is going to do. But the best bet is that since we are closing the week, it's better I see what happened at the close of the day before I can make my judgment, either to buy Bitcoin or to either to continue to buy Bitcoin or to now sell massively, as it were. So that's for me. For Bitcoin, it's actually very dicey, just like how the DXY itself a bit dicey. So whatever thing you have, you can see that hitting this resistance and then Bitcoin hitting the support. And that's one of the things that we look at in Bitcoin. Okay. So another thing on Bitcoin right now is that it's actually confusing. If I show you something very quickly here, it's actually confusing in the sense that we could have Bitcoin creating on its orders that are being set by traders, because that's another market broker. Okay, let me not, I won't say this thing online, please don't put a trigger on my head, but there's something that happen, we call something funding rate and all of that, when people are placing order. So if not, I still have this. So more of this thing you are seeing here, these are liquidation area. So that means Bitcoin having moved from here, we're supposed to go to, you can see what I told you, we're supposed to go to average of maybe 67, 68, here about 70,000, or probably able to touch up to 72,000 and then crash. So you can see how it is. So we saw this sell early with our scanner the previous week, and we sold. And then why I bought yesterday was like, I look at this, it got to the support, and the scanner already have given us that, oh, you can buy. So the buy probably was not long, but we have taken some profit and adjust stop loss, as it were. So right now, a Bitcoin. So where are we going to go to? Better still, if we return back and retest this point, then that's going to give us a good buy. But that good buy wouldn't sleep, because we have a lot of places to contend with, but actually we have made a very better money. So Bitcoin, expect if we return back here and have a what do we call it? And we'll have it a kind of retest, then that's going to make a whole lot of sense. Okay, then we continue to buy, as it were. So that's how other cryptos too. I have a long position. I didn't change my mind on this one, because even if Bitcoin will crash, it has a character. All right, this ZEC. Many of you, we bought it last week, and I said I was buying ZEC. ZEC have been printing money, but not many person actually identify the potential in ZEC. And then so I have a long position on ZEC. I still left that one open because I was using it to experiment on my Bit1 exchange, as it were. All right. This guy did massive last week, but I'm not sure many of us actually pay attention. All right. So I'm looking at it too. If Bitcoin will retest now, because Bitcoin does not retest, this one may not have a journey smooth. But Bitcoin retest and move, then it could just continue to play out same journey or similar journey it actually played the other time. So you can take note of it, River, all right, and then Sui. So Sui continued to sell. You can see that the dumping was massive and continued to massively dump, even with to dump and then got supported. So I think with coin, Zik coin, actually following the path of Bitcoin, right? Uh, Following the path of Bitcoin. In those days when Bitcoin is bullish, all right, that BNB will be slow, and when Bitcoin is slow, BNB will be pumping. But I don't think there's any much narrative from BNB right now, and that's why we're not having this massive move. Okay, so let's quickly look at gold, massive mafia. So let's look at gold for those of us who trade currencies and then forex and all of that. Now, gold is one of our best instruments. If you have been in our community, you will know that. Okay, gold is one of our best instruments. I traded. Now, I don't know how many of you took those trades last week on Friday. Yeah, so on Friday we talked about. You can see gold. Gold is struggling here, and I said that we could continue to have sideways move on gold, and we're actually resting on a support. You can see this is my line that was drawn. Gold couldn't close below either of them, however. So, but now this is it. So this week, right now, since we not really massively break here, it was just the week above, and then we got rejected because I'm looking at the previous, I think it was last month, if I'm not mistaken, no, December high or something, right? Something before January. Yeah. So that was a rejection there. I was just envisaging that rejection could happen. So what's going to happen? Uh, I think I already have even like small sell on gold. So that means we should have a pullback on gold, and I'm envisaging more buy back because of this void. All right, more buy back. All right, for gold this week. So we should be buying gold this week, right? Now, that is to say, here, however, we will have maybe a pullback, perhaps, and then able to cross over this point. Then the buy should take over the sell that has happened because this was a bounce from a fair value gap. We'll talk about it, so I'm not going to talk so much about gold right now. But some of you who follow and don't entertain fear last week, remember when it was coming down because we sold this. Our scanner is simple to use, please, because most persons don't know how to use it. Right? It's very, very simple to use. Just that many don't like taking simple instructions. That's very, very bad. Now, if you look at it, we said daily should be to measure the momentum of the candle. That's the way we trade. Measure the momentum of the candle. If I'm going to take any trade and then I do not have a good body candle, I know that the market is going to be choppy. If you look at just like what Bitcoin is doing now, yesterday was doji, and then you should know that the following day will be somehow, or sometimes you have small body candle that the low to the high, and then the following day will be somehow daisy because the candle didn't close neither break above the low of the previous day or the high of the previous day. So you can, it's an indecisive type of candle. So when I go to 4 hours, that should be the place I should be seeing a structure, right? All this, our scanner have a structure. If you look at it, look at the high here, a low, and then if you work with this and it didn't recognize this internal structure, right? So if you take it from here, perhaps from here now up to this, sorry about that. Let's go this from this to this now. So you could find out that the market actually come to the what do we call it? It actually just touched into the equilibrium, so meaning that to get at a discount price. So if you go to 1 hour, you're going to see the sell. Many of you, I'm sure if you are a member of our community, we sold this down last week, right? We sold it down and it was dilly as if it was not going to get to this my point. We already mark out this my point, and then we go there and then look at another buy. All right. I don't know how many people actually got it. And we said this were fair value gap, fair value gaps. We talk about this fair value gap that the market should come down to this fair value gap and probably have a bounce and we have a stream order block. When we talk about the gold recognize price action so much. Now, so here could not hold. All right. So you have the extreme down ordinarily. So, but for me, for those of you, probably you have the scanner, you're only waiting for, okay, I've stepped down to 4 hours, no sell, no buy yet. Okay, no problem. I'm going to be waiting until finally it came down to this order block. All right. And so you now have this market return back this, and a buy already signifies into this support, right? So when this 1 minute, 1 hour give me a buy, the simple thing I do that, if it was currency, those of you who are new, who don't know how to trade so much, you just take the trade because the stop loss of currencies will not impact you negatively like gold. But if it's gold, If you take it on 1 hour, I'm sorry, I don't know what's your equity, but I think you go window. All right. So that's one of the things that most persons will, I just saw a signal, I took a signal and all of that. No, you have to moderate it. That's the truth. So I actually moderate my own so that I will maximize the best out of it. So when he gave the signal, some could actually take the trade, or but some like me, I go to 5 minutes, I go to 3 minutes, I go to 1 minute to see a very nice sniper entry. And now one of the good courage I have in taking it that it came back to this support, and that was a good buy. And that was massive. So you can imagine from that last week, from that on that last week, from this bottom here, right, to this up here, that is 1,530 pips, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when he gave these two, that's a bear pullback, but nevertheless, so we look at it, okay, this already 1 hour and it says sell, though a little bit choppy. Then if you go to 5 minute time frame, then you see the market, you'll see that the market was not too beautiful, all right, because there are confirmation we do. But look at the candle that says sell. The following candle was not too, is this not the confirmation? And then if we go to 3 minutes, so now on 3 minutes, this is the same candle. Then this was not fantastic. I think it was 1 minute that was able to give to an extent. Now listen, why do we go to this lower time frame? So that we have a refined and A plus signal. And again, apart from the A plus signal, we can have a minimal stop loss in terms in forms of pips. Let the pips be very, very considerably minimal for us to find a trade. You can see all of this dilly dialing. For me, this is not an A plus signal for me. Look at it. Which one is my A plus signal? Look at it. This is my A plus signal here. Look at it here. This is my A plus signal. Look at this. This is accumulation, this manipulation and distribution. This is my A plus signal, right? This one is too long. If you put it where you're going to put your stop loss. These are things that, but remember, why will I not take this? I would take with, you know why? Because the signal that make me step down to lower time frame was a sell signal. So as you go more in favor of sell than buy. That's why sometimes you take some signal, it will push you out. So this is a fantastic one. So taking this signal here will have been this one, and then I put it there, and my stop loss above here. That's about 100 pips thereabout. Then my take profits will be 1 ratio, 2 risk reward, which is here. 2, if I find another counter signal that is valid, a valid counter signal. So this is 200 pips. You have done that as fast as possible. All of this movement wouldn't move me because I have a 1 hour buy signal, a sell signal, right? This is not a good one for me because I need this one to actually engulf this. So that was not a beautiful one and all of that. Not all signal you actually want to take, okay, because you have to confirm your trade. But look at this. Your supports, or this your key level, 1, 2, 3, already just bouncing it up and down, bouncing it up and down. But because we have a confirmatory strategy, then you're actually waiting. So here, that means you probably could miss this trade. But if you look at it inwardly, all right, if you look at it inwardly, this pullback give me an entry confirmation because this is a swing point, and then the market continue to ride up and up and up, as it were. Then you have this. This is not a good one for me because it does not give me a confirmation, except for the fact that the next candle now closed below the signal candle. That will warrant my entry. All right. So you wait for an A plus setup. Look at it. This is bogus, but that was a valid signal. But that's so bogus and all of that. So since then, we have this massive move up. So until we open out today, so like I said, this is a pullback, and we expect the market to continue going up this week. All right. So gold, you probably should put your mind more on looking for a buy than for a sell. Though it may drag because a sideways move was doing them before the confirmation. Okay. So currency is the same thing you're going to find. Look at it. The DXY seems to still going bullish. All right. So that means if it's still going bullish, you're going to have like USD JPY for buy, but USD JPY is already getting to an exhaustion point because I saw that on USD JPY, it's already getting to an exhaustion point. And where's the exhaustion point for USD JPY? Except on Eve, right? Aha, I have that here. Okay. Look at the previous week. This was when? This was July 2024, right? This is July 2024 for USD JPY. So we're approaching that. So I should be having some level of rejection. Outside that, if you climb, then that's a fresh journey for USD JPY. That means you'll be buying ballistically, all right, which should align with DXY, as it were, right? So DXY recovery, then that's going to be massive for USD JPY. Then that means you'll be looking for more buy. Then what's the implication on Euro USD? They will mess up. They will just crash. All of them will just continue to crash. And you see that that trend is already happening. USD JPY and GBP USD. Euro USD to sell more, and then GBP USD to sell more. All right. So that is on the account that this could take it breed up as much as possible, which is looking like. All right. Okay. So every other instrument. So if you are using our scanner, it's very simple. It's very simple. How many of you observed we continue to trade USD card last week? USD card, yes. We're making money, pullback. I think it was USD card. It was USD card. I can remember. It was USD card. Why is it not saying that? It was USD card. In fact, the last trade I took there is still on. It's still on because I told you guys a pullback will happen, and then I think it was still on. But I also told people to take profit at that point. If you follow us last week, both on our live scalping and all of that, the trade continued. And remember, the last pullback was the one before this journey move. I think it was here. I can't remember, but I remember somewhere there before the market continued to move up. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I've just explained will look like Chinese to some of us who are beginners and say, is that how this thing is difficult? It is not difficult. One thing I say is that a learner will become a master, but a master will never become God. So you have to settle down to understand how this works. Now, but in reality, to be very frank with you, trading is mechanical. Until trading is becoming boring, you have not started. If trading is too like, oh man, I just make a $1,000 yesterday. Oh, I just make this now. Oh, no. You have not started. When you really start, all of those things will not be happening because you'll be more mechanical and then more calm. It's not every trade you take. You want to caution yourself. You can find one or two trades in a week and then you ride the market, you enjoy it. Does that mean you will not scalp? I always even contain people to, I say, if you want to scalp, just scalp on gold. Then, but your currencies, look for entry in 1 hour time frame. Exactly those of us who are new, maybe if it's crypto, you look at trade in 30-minute time frame so that you can be in chart to an extent. Okay, it's very, very important. Now, on stock, I mentioned a stock. I said some of us in our ecosystem, this stock was Tambic IBTC ETF 30. We traded it. You can see it's still on. So we are currently at 5,400 naira per shares. We bought some back at 1,900 when the scanner gave us a buy. All right. So on stock, there's no need going to 1 minute, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just minimum of 1 hour, if not 4 hours daily, and then you are fine. So you can imagine this buy, right? So I think it was eve of Christmas last year, 2025, then till 29th, and then that was what did that massive move. Some people bought when there's a pullback at this point in January, right? So, and then another thing in January 5th, I talk about it again. I remember list some of them at January 5th. That should be average price of 1,100 naira thereabout. Okay, that's when some bought. Some who bought late bought at 1,600 naira, whatever. So you can imagine from there to this point, this is 500%. So, but those who bought early, in eve of Christmas, actually make about 700 and something percent. Now you can imagine this one already, what we have done. So stock, both local, international stock. Now, this is the first time there's some foreign stock I was analyzing because of this war that were messing down. Listen, the best time to actually become a millionaire is when the market become uncertain. All you need is to align with the right information, and boom, you are making a lot of money. Okay, we have PZ, we have so many other instruments that we bought. Fitsin, I don't even know where Fitsin is now because it's one of my best stock and one of best performing stock this year. We knew that it went to 105 All right, so it has retraced to 94 and all of that. So it was our best, one of our best performing stock of the year. So because that continued to move, I told some persons that if you want to take profit on Zenith Bank, right, it did well, and there were not many persons knew what happened for the mover of Zenith Bank last week, last 2 weeks. Then they start moving massively and all of that. All right. So it was amazing. All right. It was amazing. And now, so the pullback, I'll set when I sit down to look at, but at that 120, okay, I think Zenith went to 113 and thereabouts. So we're 103. So chances are there that we could still return back to 94, and then if we have a confirmation, we could buy from there. If not, then that means we're going to be looking at about $90, 90 naira on its own. But that was a very massive one. We've done that. I talked to you about Boa. Boa, Boa, they are going to be giving dividend next month. That's April. Boa Cement, MTN, some other stock like that are going to be giving their dividend. I think Boa is 320 something naira right now. So you can even see this year, December ending, so was a buy. That was at about 85 naira. So imagine December, this is March, going to March ending, December ending, that will be 3 months. And so getting to this point, come on, that's about 264%. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you can see how we do. So I've just told you our copy automation. So not everybody have time or energy, to actually trade by themselves. That's where the copy automation comes. Copy automation, you can do average of. So if you have copy automation, that some of them are doing like 10%, 15%, 14%, and all of that, make more sense. I think to me, it's more honorable than venturing your money into third-party platforms where they are not broker, they're just announcing investment scheme, and they will tell you are using robots. Go and check any platform that do copy trading, robots, and all of that. You see that it's an established exchange or broker, and then if you go to invite EAs, they connect and they are trading. And then they're talking about that trading, so you have a track record that okay, this platform had been trading, and then you can actually make money. So that's what we have just defined for all of us and those of you who come tonight. You can see what's happening now. So please empower yourself to get the right skill because we don't really know what will happen next. The war going on in the Middle East now, I'm not sure it's a palatable one. Some of us may not understand the impact of that. All right. If you are doing business of infrastructure and all, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So it's good to go more digital and then you can establish yourself anywhere you find yourself than overlapping. I'm not saying infrastructural development is not good, but you should understand situational issues so that you won't be dry of your cash flow. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of us have any questions. Some want to ask how do I get started and all of that. If you are not on our forum, I think I can just post the link on the Telegram. That's the cash flow system. I'm going to post the link. If you're not there, you can join, right? So please, if you have a question, you can type it on the chat box and then I will pay attention to it. Now, remember, for some of us who maybe you have not heard us before, we always do live trading section every day from Monday till Friday. No, sorry, Monday to, right, from Monday to Thursday, 3 p.m. GMT plus one. Why not? You can join now and take trade with us. That's number one. Number two, if you subscribe to PBS Club or you just subscribe for the scanner, you have access to the PBS, or you subscribe for PBS, you have access to the scanner. Then we do Tuesday and Thursday midnight. That one is pure analysis to teach you, to show you how to actually participate and trade effectively, right? But every other things like what I mentioned about AI tech, many of you, I don't know how many of you attended one of the meetings we had the other time. So those of you registering on AI tech and all of those things, registering on Capital Extend, Well Trade, you're not paying to join, and you don't need to know much. We'll just show you how to connect your account, and then you are good to go. But remember, no matter how you are making money on copy system, if you can learn the skill, you make more than what you are making on the key. Yeah, oh, trust me, you make more than what you are making on the copy system. Then you ask yourself, if I learn how to trade very well, should I still do copy? Why not? That's diversification. There'll be some time you didn't even you know how to trade, but your setup may not come up because maybe you trade swing trading. Then somebody who is scalping will have half set up and trade. Then you still leverage on his skill because that's the essence of copy trading, as it were. Okay, any question? If you have any questions, you just type on the chat box and then I can tend to it. If you do not have a questions, then I think it's value gotten. If you know the value was gotten for your almost 2 hours, you have been under some, or at least let's say 1.5 or 1 hour sometime because 8:30, 8:30 something, almost 8:40 we got started. So this is 9:46 already. So 1 hour is gone down. If you know that for the past 1 hour, value was gotten for your sitting for 1 hour, can you just put a love emoji on the chat box? I think you can have that. Put a love emoji or fire emoji on the chat box. You know that value was gotten for this past 1 hour. Just put a fire or love emoji on the chat box. Put a fire or love emoji on the chat box. You know you got value. You got value. Put a love emoji or fire emoji on the chat box very quickly. Anyone. So if you know you enjoy, if I didn't see the fire emoji or love emoji, that means we do not really enjoy it. Okay. That means it was just like a waste of time for you. If you know that it was not a waste of time, want to see a love emoji or fire emoji. Okay. Only one person actually got value. Thank you very much, Enoch. Thank you very much, Enoch. You got value. I love that. Thank you very much. Enoch got value. Every other person do not get any value. Enoch got value. Every other person do not get value. Oh, we don't know how to. Okay, thank you very much, Debayo. Thank you very much for the value you got. That's lovely. All right. So that is lovely. So I think thank God 2 people got value. All right. So out of about I think 18 people came was I saw about 18 people initially, then we dropped to 14, 15, or 13. So at least 2 people got value. Thank you very much for those of you got value and your feedback. The Lord honor you and bless you. All right. So on the group, if you're on the group, ask question on how to get started in any of those things we have mentioned, and I think they are worthwhile and going to help you. Then I've told you the best thing is the trading asset, which has to do with your mindset, your skill set, and the tool set. Skill set is to learn just basic navigation, and then the tool set is the scanner that's going to help you to identify some fantastic entry point and exit point, and then you'll be fine. That's the truth. You'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. So you can see, like I said, Bitcoin is very dicey and all of that. You'll just be fine. Very, very, very fine, as it were. All right, thank you very much for coming. So see you tomorrow. Those of us who will be live trading in the noon time, which is 1 p.m. Then those of you who are on the PBS Club, please pay attention on the group because we send signal, but if you don't go on there, that's a very bad one. All right. Okay, maybe you don't have the fire emoji. You can type 5555. You don't have a fire emoji. Many I'm thinking most of you don't see the fire emoji or love emoji. You can put 555 if you really got value, tonight. And on the this thing, make sure you like and share to friends that will help them to like and share and actually subscribe to. Probably you can when a message or training is done, you can always see it pop up to you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Do have a nice rest. Do have a nice rest, everyone. I'm sure month of April will soon enter into will be a lovely month for everybody. And so let's just keep doing and keep maximizing opportunity. Thank you very much, Duna. Everybody, do have a nice rest. Thank you.